Adelle, I believe your mic is now sorted. And your journey, because we did speak about this a few weeks back when we were launching Wazo, and you did tell me it took some years for you to realize profit for you as a podcaster and from your podcast. How was that journey for you to change just the passion to some paper?
To some paper. Okay, so first, even before I answer, I just have to say congratulations to Njugush and Butita. I think it's so important for not only as creators on the continent, but just as Africans to have our own platforms. Yeah. So even a link that you can't forward is so important because you're building a platform that's ours. So somebody can't just wake up and manipulate what Africans get to see. So I think it's fantastic what you're doing. When I started podcasting, same frustrations of the media industry. I felt like we were not adapting. We could see media houses, funnily enough, in Australia that were completely shutting down, but we were just acting like, oh, okay, so this entire media house shut down and we're just moving on, you know? So when I left, thought I was done with media and I was going into the NGO world. But then I started podcasting for fun. And it just was something that I loved. I love audio. But as I kept going, I think we monetized 40-something or 50-something weeks in is when a client came to me, and I love selling because I love money. A client came to me, and I'd always thought, this influencer thing is not a thing, and it's not sustainable. It's actually not a thing. I mean, I want your money, yes, but it's like, where is the sustainability? So when they came for me, I was like, actually, there's something else here that I feel like will give you more value because it's not restricting you only to me, but an audience that perhaps is much deeper and much wider. Yeah. And in a pitch, I just pitched the podcast. And they came on board. I think that was the World Youth Forum, so it was an Egyptian company we were dealing with then. And then there was Coca-Cola Foundation and the Women Economic Fund. And so when I saw, I was like, oh, okay. And if there's one thing traditional radio knows how to do is how to make money. And so being in radio for 10 years, I just said, okay, fine, let me go back and see. This thing can actually be a business. What does it need? Yeah. And so I broke it down a bit further. And then now I would pitch, and I still pitch, what do you call this? I still pitch. 90% of my job is pitching. At anywhere I go to, I'm just like, ding, 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 ding. I see money there, I see money, and I'll pitch. But then I also realized, okay, so I can get the advertising on the podcast app and going, but there's an audience that likes video. And I also want to deliver on my promise on amplifying African stories. There's also touring. When I was quitting, I hated that I had to go at 5 a.m. to this box on Waiyaki Way and pretend that I knew what was happening in life, but life was happening outside there, right? So I remember even telling my CEO then, I just want to be out of this box. Like, why am I in this box? And so I developed content around that to go on the road, which then opens up different advertising opportunities because different clients have different needs. So there's some who can sell and advertise on audio only, but there's some who need visuals. There's some who want to go on the road. There's some who have different qualitative targets they have. It's not really pushing a product. Yeah. And so I was able to sell that. But I also then realized I don't want to depend on advertisers only. So I was like, this business needs to make its own money internally so that even when there are no advertisers, there's money coming in. We can pay off all our overheads. And so we built a curriculum. A lot of us think that money comes from only the sexy parts. A lot of money comes from the non-sexy parts of creativity. So we built a curriculum, but it's also because...
We just explain that for people who...
Sexy and non-sexy.
Explain that.
Butita, what did you do wrong?
I'm just interested in the non-sexy. The sexy I know.
In the
Just
sexy
break it
or
down.
non-sexy?
The sexy I know. The non-sexy.
Break it down.
Yeah, so my thing is, because as a business, one of our missions is to, and when we'll get further in our conversation, but one of our missions is to ensure we upskill Africans when it comes to creating digital content. But how do I upskill you in a way that you can build this content sustainably, right? Because right now, this space is a scene. How does it become an industry when we have more stakeholders? So I need more creators. I need more of us in this space, and I need you to stay, not give us 5 episodes and then come off. I need you to think about building a media business. I need you to really see long term. And so that's how we built the curriculum and then now workshop it for different organizations. So we make money through partnerships with different organizations. We hold our own internal workshops that are free for the public. And then events. And then we opened up events and syndication because the podcast also plays on Trace. So that's a distribution and revenue angle. But for me, it's to say as sustainability is key. Yeah. Because you can be making money today and COVID comes and advertisers pull budgets. How will you still be hitting your all your costs that you have monthly? Yeah. How do you make money for your projects that are coming next year? So I want to go on tour next year. What does that look like today? You know, I think when we step back from content, content creation is one department. If you look at how media houses work, right? It's one department. And then you step back and there's marketing, there's innovation, there's so many other things. The non-sexy bits, the IT is huge, right? But they were like in a corner but it's important. So when you step back and then you start saying, okay, I can monetize here, here, here. Because you want almost all the money, right? And so for me, where we're at now is to really make sure the business makes money from multiple places internally that I have control over. Okay. Yeah.